If you have epilepsy, this video will kill you. We move forward. We aim to progress. Try not to look back too much. Try to avoid lingering on mistakes. You will make mistakes. Post-Void is a game, nay, an experience created by YCJY, an indie game studio comprised of the two sanest males that Sweden has to offer, Josef Martinovsky and Christopher Andreasen, who'd had this cool idea to make a roguelike arcade-style movement shooter in Game Maker Studio. The culmination of this idea can only be described as... I apologize for that. Post-Void. Let's talk about it. Upon entering the game, you're introduced to Post-Void's story. First, there was Void. Then, there was a headache and a flower of hope that would give birth to a sanctuary. With his head in hand, he who bore the pain would try to reach the Void again. The place where nothing moves, where darkness is lord and silence its preacher. A place of peace. There, his head can pour freely onto a new seed, which, with renewed purpose, will sprout life. But alas, ceaseless violence and unapologetic noise would again be wallpapered to the corridors of past serenity. A time known as Post-Void. A place known as Post-Void. And then you realize that there is no story, and the premise is just a contrivance to give the player characters something resembling a goal. But how do we approach that goal? Surely we can just go to the place and do the thing, right? Yeah, let's do it then. The game gave us a tutorial after all. Just make sure to keep refilling the constantly draining health skull by killing enemies and stealing their fluids. How hard can this game really be? You know, I should have seen that coming. Yeah, we have a lot to learn here, so, let's get this show on the road. Post-Void is set in 11 procedurally generated levels of increasing difficulty and divided into 3 acts and an epilogue. Each act introduces new elements to shake things up a little bit more than the last, but we'll circle back around to that in a moment. I want to take you on a journey from levels 1 to 11 and teach you the art of getting good. Level 1 is the closest to being uncomplicated. It does a pretty good job of introducing us to the general gameplay loop of Post-Void. We lobotomy dash our way through a brightly colored, non-Euclidean backrooms adjacent hellscape. Trying to stop us is our first enemy type. Black suits. They're pretty simple to take care of. Just 3 shots to the body or 1 to the head will take these bad boys down. At the end of every level, we're given the option to pick one of 3 randomly decided upgrades. There are 12 possible upgrades in total, 3 of which being different weapons in case the pistol gets boring. The options we get are pretty simple. There's the Uzi, which shoots rapid fire and recoils you into oblivion. The shotgun, which carries on the movement shooter tradition of being the best weapon simply by virtue of being a shotgun. And then there's the knife. It's the only melee weapon in the game, meaning that in order to get value out of it, you need to get up close, which can pretty easily get you stuck on enemies and killed if you're not fast enough. The knife has the highest skill floor of any weapon in the game, as it changes the pace more than any of the others. Unless you're actively trying to challenge yourself, there isn't much of a need to switch the game to UK difficulty. Not when you can have good old-fashioned freedom on your side. Besides, knives are hardly the most interesting melee weapon in FPS games. I've always been more of a chainsaw man myself. The other upgrades are pretty nice too. We have some self-explanatory upgrades, more health, more ammo, faster reload, slower enemy projectiles. We have upgrades where you don't get slowed when you run into enemies, one that makes you run faster backward for some reason, one that gives you a GPS, there's one that makes your bullets bounce off of the walls, and there's one that makes your enemies explode as they die. I like the one that makes the enemies explode as they die. Level 2 plays similar to Level 1, but with one major difference. These bastards. Flamingos are jiggly, jocely jackasses who run up to you and bitey bite until it's nighty-night. They go down in 2 shots, so they aren't that big an issue, but never let them gang up on you. Level 3 is mostly the same, no new enemies or factors on the map. But with Level 4, we enter Act 2. And now we have to deal with not only new layers of verticality, levels you have to jump to and onto and from and away from and toward, but also not 1, not to put 3 new enemy types all at once. Crying mouths are stationary turrets that shoot bullets at you and go down in one hit. Nothing too hard on their own. None of these enemies are, but given the constantly draining health and how you'll rarely be up against one enemy at a time, these guys are a menace. Speaking of menaces, telehands, these little drone things are so goddamn hard to hit! They always spawn in these little groups and they go down in one hit, but that's assuming you manage to land a hit. Good luck, pistol users. Then there's flesh walls, which don't attack or do anything. They're just in the way, sometimes blocking a path, hiding enemies, or guarding dead ends. If you hit them dead center, they go down in one shot, but if you miss, they cover their face and make you unload into them. I should mention, when I say it takes 3 shots or 2 or 1, I mean with the pistol. The shotgun obliterates everything in one hit. All the Act 2 levels play largely the same. Level 7 brings us to Act 3 and the worst enemy in any game ever. The bulb hand only takes 1 shot to kill and it doesn't deal any damage, but when it attacks, it does this instead. Need I say more? Also, the black suits have been swapped out for white suits. They shoot and move a little faster now, but the difference only feels marginal within the chaos of Act 3. The geometry of level 7 to 10 is similar to that of Act 2, but a little longer and harder to navigate. It's the logical next step in terms of difficulty. Okay, cool. Now we know roughly what's going on in Post-Void. This is actually somewhat comprehensible now. We've died an unknowable amount of times, but that's fine. The game is short enough and has just enough progression between levels that it doesn't feel like you're losing too much when you die. You just decease and go, okay, cool, lesson learned, I guess I won't do that again, teehee. Alrighty, we've talked about it long enough. Now it's time to lock in. It's time to show this gallimaufry of humbuggerous cockalorms the erroneous nature of their ludibrious ways. It's time to return to the void. It's time to return to the void. Okay, cool, lesson learned, I won't do that again, teehee. My biggest flex is that I can comprehend this. This shit is like being trapped inside of a Maxor video. I finally know what my DD felt like when he dropped acid at the Denzel Curry concert. This game is so unhinged, it makes you paranoid. Literally anything can jump out from behind that corner.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All of my friends are out pursuing love and forging relationships while I'm here in my goon room mastering the art of the blade. Play this game long enough and you start shooting before you even get around the corner thinking there's somebody there, but you just end up unloading into the Epstein list. I like the upgrade that makes enemies explode when they die. I should go back to play normal games. At long last, the end of Ultra Cruel Kill Squad. Shit. Finally. Domain expansion. Shut the fuck up! Welp, you know what they say. When life gives you void, never post it.